Now we are going to learn about how to build a Docker image for our Spring RESTful web services. We are going to use OpenJDK 17 version as a base image, and we'll add our jar file, and we'll give the command to start the jar file, which means java-jar and our jar file. So let's create a file. So let's name it as a Docker file, and our base image is OpenJDK 17 alpine. Once it is done, we need to copy our jar file. So I'm copying from the target. So in our target, we can use the full name as Spring RESTful Web Services version 0.0.1 snapshot.jar, or we can give simply target slash the jar file astic. The reason why I am using astic instead of the version, because in future if we change the version, I don't want to update the Docker file again and again. So with this star, it's going to identify the jar file. Ultimately, we will be having only one jar file as part of the target directory, and we are saying it as a yap.jar. And once we copy it, we need to run the command. So that would be the entry point. As part of the entry point, we need to give java-jar and our app.jar. The reason why I am using app.jar would be same name for all kind of versions. Here, when the POM file version has been modified, the generated jar file would be changed as well. The name of the jar file would be changed. So I don't want to keep on updating it. So simply I'm using astic.jar and I'm renaming it as app.jar, and I'm given the same at this point. Part of our application, when it starts at the 8443 port. So let's add the port also. So for that one, we need to use expose, and we need to use the 8443. Docker image has been built. We are exposing 8443 port, so we can divert the port traffic into host machine port. That way we can access the application. So now let's build the Docker image using the Docker file. Let's open the terminal. Let's navigate to our project directory where Docker file has been created. We have navigated to the project directory. Now let's build the Docker image using Docker file. So in order to build an image, we need to use the command, which is the Docker build command, and path for the Docker file. In this case, it would be the current directory, because we already navigated to the project directory where the Docker file is there. And after that, we need to give the image name and the version. That would be given using tag -t. So let's use it. For now, I'm giving a simple name as a Spring RESTful Web Services as srw docker build, the current directory -t srw, and the version as v1. Let's run it. So now as part of it, the base image has been downloaded and our file has been copied as a app.jar, and the Docker image has been built. Let's check the Docker images. The Docker images, it has srw and the version v1. Let's verify the same at the Docker desktop. I've opened the Docker desktop app in the Windows, and let's go to the images, and this is the image that was built as the w1, and as part of it, here we see the layers. It has 11 layers. Among that one, we have 3 layers belongs to us. As part of the layer, we are exposing 8443 port and copying the jar file and giving the command to run the jar file as an entry. Let's run the image. I'm using Docker desktop application to run the image. We can give the command as well. For now, we are launching or creating the Docker container using Docker desktop application. And here I'm giving srw container, and I'm giving the port as same 8443 and run. So as part of it, it started running it. So the logs are already attached to it. So if we see it, the application has been started at 8443, and if we check the terminal, It has been connected to the Docker container and we can see all the contents. If I list the contents here, ls-lrt, where our app.jar file has been copied. And if you go for the inspect, here it gives all the related environment and the port related details. So right now it is having 8443 and it is been mapped to 8443 port. And if you go to the stats would be giving the CPU and memory usage of the container. Now we are in the containers tab and let's access the application. So here I need to use HTTPS because we secured it earlier. Now we are getting it. Let's verify it. So it has a certificate. It was created by us and issued by us. All other one. So it is working. Let's access the endpoint API/v1 and we got welcome user. That means Docker image is built successfully and the container able to run and able to serve the services. Let's delete the container. First I'm stopping the container and I'm deleting the container. And let's go to the image and clear all our images. Let's create the image one more time. And this time we'll be using the docker run command from the command line. So I'm giving the docker run and let's check the help. I will be using the docker run and the image, and main thing is the port. So here is -p and we need to give the port information. Or we can use the capital P, it publishes all the export ports to a random ones. So we need to give the docker run and we need to provide -p for publishing the port, so which is 8443 and map to 8443, same port, and we need to give the Docker image. So in our case, Docker image is srw-v1. So once we started it, the Docker container will be started and the port will be mapped. So let's access the same endpoint. When I refresh the page, I got the response. That means the Docker container has been started successfully and providing the services. Now we have learned how to build a Docker image and how we can run from the command line and using Docker desktop as well.